Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Oracle DB online training. In this session, we will be covering upon Snapshot Standby Database. So previously we have looked at how to perform the patching on the RAG database system. So even though we have covered a lot of topics related to the data guard, so I thought why not to create one uh, video on the Snapshot Standby Database management, how to convert from the physical standby uh, database to snapshot standby database. So this will be basically on the rack database system where we have the production rack system, and it has the two node rack standby database also. On that database we will be basically converting the physical standby database to the snapshot standby database. Then we will be doing some test cases also, like performing the table creation and other testing. uh, so once that is over, then we can revert back the snapshot standby to the physical standby database. So before we begin, I'll request all the new friends to please subscribe this YouTube channel. So you are already getting a lot of learning on this platform. So we have already covered a lot of topics. So even we have looked at the database architectures, golden gate concepts. Even though we have covered the RMN related stuffs and OEM, even though we have looked at how to configure RAG database, how to upgrade any database. So various topics we have already covered so far, and even in upcoming days also we will be covering a lot of such topics. And you can look at the playlist also for various different topics. I already segregated all these topics in the playlist format, so you can refer that also. And you can connect me on these various social media platforms. Please click click on these buttons, and you'll definitely get in touch with me on these platforms. And before I'll go further, I'll request all the friends, if you have any queries, if you want any personal training, please get in touch with me on this email ID, as well as a contact details here on the this page. Okay, so let us start the today's session without wasting much time. That is, we'll understand what is a snapshot standby database, and then we'll move to quickly to the practical session. So everything will be done on the 19C latest version. So let us focus today's session. Okay, so let's move further. I'll So basically, a snapshot standby database. We have already covered the theoretical part in our previous session, in where we have discussed a lot of things about data guard management. So basic theory about snapshot standby database is a snapshot standby database is a fully updatable standby database. Like normal scenario, if you have the physical standby database, then you cannot update it because it is a read-only database. Okay, so in order to make it read write mode, what you can do is you can create a snapshot standby from your existing physical standby database. And it's like a physical or the logical standby database. And snapshot database receives, archives, redo data from the primary database. But here what happens, unlike the physical or the logical standby database, a snapshot standby database does not apply the redo log data. That means it will receive the data from the production system, but it will not apply those redo logs while it is running in the snapshot standby database. The main purpose of snapshot standby database is to perform the real-time application testing. That means real-time application testing with the real data, you can say, which is similar to your production database system. And this is basically very useful when you are you want the real data in order to perform the what do you say, practical session, or the application testing on the actual data. Okay, so we can directly convert the physical standby database into the logical standby database, and then we can quickly physical standby database to snapshot database conversion. And after that we can perform various testing operation over there, and later we can revert back to the from snapshot standby database to the physical standby database. Okay, So during the time of snapshot standby database uses, the MRP process will be stopped, but RFS process will keep on fetching the archive logs. Even though snapshot standby database will have its own archive redo logs, which will get generated. So in order to manage a snapshot standby database, you should have a sufficient space for managing those archive logs. Okay, so let us start further look at the practical session. So we have this production database system which is up and running, and you can see that it has a two node primary database, that is prod 1 and prod 2, and this is running on two separate server, 131 and 132. We have already opened the alert logs, and this is my standby databases, which is currently a physical standby database. Now we will be converting it to snapshot standby database, and we'll be doing some testing also. These are the alert logs for these two sessions. So let us start with the practical, how to convert and how to perform the various tasks. Okay, so let's move. So we'll look at the steps that is going to be used in this entire process. So first we have to basically, on the primary setup and standby setup, we have to cross verify the role of the database. So we have already verified that part, that is my primary database instance is already up and running with two node rack setups. This is currently read write mode, and you can see there is a no gap as of now, and this is my standby database. Okay, so next part that I need to do is basically we have to cross verify the gap. So I already verified the gap between the primary and standby database. There is no gap as of now. Okay, so you can verify the log queries also, which is used for this entire okay. And so if there is no lag happen between the primary and snapshot primary and the standby database, then directly we have to move on the flashback checking. So we can verify the status of flashback, whether it is enabled or not on the primary. So this is already enabled in my case. If it is not enabled, you can enable it. Okay, so after that we have to verify the DB recovery file test, because this is where all your logs related to flashback will be kept. You know, if you are enabling the any flashback in your database, so make sure you should have a sufficient space both on the your DB recovery file test location. So in my case, this is a testing environment, so I kept around 8 GB of space. You can make it more as per your requirements. After that, you have to basically cancel the recovery on the standby database, that is your physical standby database. So what I'll do, I'll just cancel the recovery. Okay, so once your recovery is cancelled, after that what you need to do is you have to stop the database and mount the database in the any one of the instance. You have to mount in the what do you call, you have to just mount the database in mount state. So I'll just come to normal prompt, from where I'll just check the status of the database. So currently you can see it is open with read only mode. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll just stop the database both, because we have the two nodes. So I'll stop the both the nodes, and after that I'll just start the instance. Only first instance I'm going to start with a mount option. Why I'm doing this, because we have to convert it to from the physically standby database to snapshot standby database. So if you have rack set up, then you have to do this way only, because if you are going to perform on multiple instance together, that is not possible. So basic idea here is to first you have to make sure that your one of the instance or the other instances is stopped, and only single instance is up and running. So now I'll start the database in mount state. Okay, so suppose you have the database with a DGMGRL, then you have to be a little bit careful, because once your database is mounted, what it will do, it will start the recovery in the background. So either you have to stop the recovery manually, or otherwise you can just log into the DGMGRL, and from there you can edit the apply option as a off. So what I'll do, I'll just log in from the production, and I'll stop this recovery. Other way is to just see here, recovery started with manage recovery, starting with real time apply. Okay, so what I'll do, I need to just log into the SQL prompt, and from there I can just cancel the recovery also. So here you can see it is just mounted, but still there is a MRP process up and running. So let me just run the grep MRP also. So here you can see there is a one process, MRP related process, already up and running. So what I'll do, I'll just try to stop the recovery. If it is not working, then after that I need to just invoke the dgmgrl command that I already written on my system. So in the background it has stopped the recovery. So I think we can proceed now. So let me just yeah, so it is okay. After that I need to just convert. This is very important command, that is alter database convert to snapshot standby database. So once you will invoke this command, it will convert the standby database into the physical standby database, converted to the snapshot database. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just run the db information command. So here you can see that previously it was a physical standby database, now it is converted into the snapshot standby database. Even though in the alert log you can see that there is a various online redo log files are basically got cleared, that means it is re-invoked with a all the redo log files are resets. Okay, so now we can open the database instance, both the database instance. So either you can stop the currently active database or just so what I'll do, I'll just stop the current database instance, and I'll start all the database instances together. Okay, so in the background from the production, all the archives will be keep on coming to your snapshot standby database. They will be received by the snapshot standby database, but here it will not be getting applied because it is snapshot standby database. Okay, so let this process finish, then after that we'll start the database, both the standby database instance with using the srvctl commands. Okay, so now I'll just try to start the database instance. So here I need to use the option also, because um, in the srvctl config command there it is mentioned as a read only command there. Okay, because of that it will not allow me to start the database in read write mode. Okay, so in order to make it read write, we have to just mention the option as a open. Okay, so now it is starting the database instance on the both the nodes. So in coming days, I'm going to start a few live session also. You can enjoy those live session also. I'm going to share the schedule also on the community page. That is, you just keep on following the community page. I'm going to mention all the schedule for the live demo sessions, where you can ask me real time questions also related to these topics. So just keep a watch on the community page. I'm going to be online also in a few days. Okay, so let us move further. I think both the database instance are started, and you can see this is open with read write mode, and currently the database role is like a is a snapshot standby database. Okay, so after that, then that means we have successfully converted our physical standby database into the snapshot standby database. Here it will not impact your production database, so we don't have to worry about production database system. Now we can have the real-time data on snapshot standby database. That means whatever the data was in the production, it is now now we are getting the same data as a read write mode on the snapshot instance. Okay, so after that, if there is some further modification is happening on the production, that data we are not going to get. And once we have converted, that means that is the stop. There will be no further media recovery will happen, and that means you don't have the real time data there. Okay, so now what we can do is we can just create one test user. And I mean, you can do anything on this newly created, snapshots database. Okay, so I'll just try to create one user with a test one identified by some password, and I just granted this few roles also. And after that, I can just connect and try to create one table also from the test user. This is also working. After that, I can just try to create some table and try to insert the data also. So everything is possible by using this option of snapshot standby database. This is what I was trying to say. So we have the real-time data also. Okay. So now after that, you can just fetch the data also. So like select star from. So this data is also populating. That means we are successfully tested also the newly converted snapshot standby database. After that, what we need to do is we have to basically um, verify the current archive sequences also from the production as well as snapshot standby database. That means you can verify what is the current situation on production as well as a snapshot standby database. And you can also verify the processes like from the $v manage underscore standby database. So okay, so because we are connected with some different user, because of that it was not allowed me. So you don't have to worry about that. Let me just fire the query one more time from so we can see that there are RFS process running, but there is no MRP process in the currently active on the snapshot standby database. Okay, so after that we just have to basically bring down the currently active database, and we have to just mount it in the mount state. After that, that means I'll just come out of this window, and now we have to just stop the both the standby database instances. So I'll just fire this query, a service util stop database -d. So that means you can do any testing on this standby database when it was open in read write mode. And once your testing is over, then you can revert back to your physical standby database. So I'm going to show you how to perform that action now. So we are now trying to convert snapshot standby to physical standby database. So we are stopping the database. So my database instance is stopped successfully. Okay. After that, I just have to start single instance in the mount state. So I'll just log in with SQL prompt, and from there I'll just start the first instance in mount state. Once the database is mounted, then I just have to fire this query. That is step number 11. Sorry, 11, not it is 12. So alter database convert to physical standby. That means it will convert my current snapshot standby database instance into the physical standby database. So here you can see in the alert log also we can verify these details. So here you can see database role change request has been published. So after that, what you need to do is you have to just run the db command, and now we can see that database is now converted back to the physical standby database. Okay, so role conversion is successfully completed. After that, you can stop both the instances and start it in the read only mode. Okay, so I just stopped the database instance, which is currently open with mount state, and after that I'll open it in read only mode. Okay. So if you want, you can manage it through dgmgrl command. So using the dgmgrl, you can basically manage your standby database very efficiently. If you want to learn how to perform these operations using the dgmgrl, you can refer my previous video. I already covered how to configure a data guard broker, how to use the dgmgrl commands, and so there are a lot of things you can do through the dgmgrl also, which is I think using the normal sql queries, that is a little difficult. Those things you can easily manage through the dgmgrl. So I'll just provide you the link, how to read, how to use, how to perform various operations using the dgmgrl. You can follow those videos and you can easily learn those things. Okay, so let us focus here. Srvctl start database, database and the database unique name stby. Now we are trying to start both the database instances. That means at this junction, my snapshot is converted back to the physical standby database after my testing was over. So I just created one table and try to insert some data and try to fetch that data. Okay, that means my testing was over. But in real scenario, it is not the case. People will use this system for like 1 day or at least 4 to 5 hours of time. Okay, once the testing is over, then you can convert back this snapshot standby to the physical standby. That is, we have already done here with this command. Okay, and after that I'm just trying to open both my instances. So while doing any conversion, role conversion, you have to be running with a single instance. And once that is over, then after that you can open your database in read only mode. So now my both the instances open, and in the background mrp will also be started. You can see all the mrp which was not getting applied previously started with applying. So this is happening because I'm using the dgmgrl utility in the backend. So there is something called ps-ef grep daemon process, which is related to data guard broker, which is by default active in the background. So sorry, ps-ef grep daemon. Okay, so daemon process, what it is does in the background, it will start your mrp process also. We don't have to worry about that also. So you can see clearly that all the archive redo logs are applied successfully and real-time recovery is happening in the database. Okay, so this is very simple. I think you can use also data guard broker also. Now I'm back to physical standby database. Okay, and even though my production system is already up and running, there is nothing, no changes is happened. Okay, so next thing that I need to do, I just have to cross verify the data which was in the previous state. So the table which I already created during that time, so I'll just try to fetch the data from that table. I think this table will not be accessible because now the role conversion is happened. Okay, that means this testing is successfully done. That means this data should not be coming because currently we have converted the role, and that means in the background it has flashback every data from for the snapshot standby to the physical standby database. Okay, so with this our testing is completed, and we have learned how to perform any snapshot standby database role conversion from the physical standby database. And this is very simple process. Even we have covered about the rack database system. Here we have the two standby instances. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope you have understood everything. If you have any queries so far, you can mention me in comment box. I'll definitely try to help. With this, we have completed today's session, and thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe my YouTube channel. If you have any question, anything, you can mention me in the comment box. You can send me email also. I'll definitely try to help. Thank you once again, guys. Have a great day.